Testing, testing.
Testing, testing.
Testing. I've gotten a lot of questions about my audio and what I recommend for audio. So here's some things that I've learned, and I actually learned this the hard way, is to use what you have. But sometimes what you have won't work for the conditions that you're in. I actually went to a networking event, and one of the things that I picked up on really quick that night was that all the audio I had to go with my video actually sucked. So I'm going to share with you some tips about how you can improve your audio and things that you can do even if you're just using your phone. Normally when I'm recording, I just use whatever is on my phone. If I'm recording with my phone, then that means I'm just using the audio that's on here. If I'm using a camera, this is my Sony CyberShot, and I've done a video about all the equipment that I use. I'll put that in the description below so you can check that out. There's goods and bads to this. So if you put this on a vlogging stick, then you won't actually cover this up. The audio on this camera kind of sucks. It's right here on the side, if you can see these three little dots. Sometimes if you're holding the camera like this, you may actually cover up the audio, and there's no plugins to upgrade the audio on this camera. If you have it, it's great. You can still use the audio on whatever camera or phone that you decide to use. Those are just things to keep in mind. Now, when I'm using my phone and I'm on the go, this is actually a super cheap lifesaver. This little lapel, lavalier lapel, they call it a bunch of different things. You can pick this up for less than $10, and I'm gonna show you where to get this in the description below this video. So make sure and check that out. But this can just go right here on your shirt, so you can see it right there. And maybe I'll put it up here so you can see it, but you can put it on your shirt right here. I like to keep it down here a little bit further away from me, and then all I do is take this and plug it in to my cell phone and use it that way. Now, I'll recommend doing a check before you record like a full video, because you want to make sure it's picking up, that it's in there secure. And to do the check, you're gonna have to actually take this back out and listen to it. It is a super cheap and super easy option to have. Another thing that I'll do is, if I'm using my camera, I will record with my camera, and I actually did this recently. So I was in a really noisy environment at social media marketing world, and I took this camera and I started recording with it. I actually had somebody holding it for me. And then I put this on here, and I just use the iPhone voice memo. I'm sure if you have an Android, they probably have voice memo. And I just started recording the audio in my voice memo, and I would just make sure that it was recording on here while I was talking, and I try to stay really close to the people that I was talking to. So you're gonna see some of those interviews coming up soon. But this was a lifesaver. The only thing that I'll tell you is not to be touching it, and keep in mind if you hit it or you move your hair or you do anything, it's gonna go whenever you're recording the audio for it. And you're kind of restricted in how far you can move from it. So eventually, if you're doing more advanced recording work, you're probably going to want to upgrade that. But if you have your audio on your phone and then you have the video on the camera, you can line them up perfect to match, and it just goes over really well. So that's an option. The next thing that I upgraded to was called the Roadie. This is a funny looking thing, and you just put it on top of the mic itself. Now the mic goes on your phone. This is specific for a phone. You just put this on the phone like so, and you push this little back on. So it just fits really snug on there. Do you see that? It just fits on there. So here's what's up with this mic. The cool thing about this mic is when you're recording, it really only picks up what you're saying from this direction, and it doesn't pick up anything back here. And then if it's really windy outside, you can put on this wind tunnel, and it won't pick up the wind from anything blowing around. So that's really cool. Now the other thing about this, you can flip this behind you if you want to, you know, record somebody from this way. You can record them that way. You just have to remember whichever way the mic is facing, that's who it's going to be picking up the voice for. Now, not to say that it probably won't pick up other sounds, but it's mainly to pick up the front, and that's what it's going to enhance. So that's a little different. I would also do a sound check on this.
Testing, testing.
But the cool thing about the sound check on this is you can put some headphones into the back. You see this? You can put some headphones in here. Say you're recording someone, you can listen to what's going on in the headphones while they're recording, or say you're doing this, you can do that without having to take all of this off, because you have to take this off and listen to your phone, or, you know, listen to your phone this way on speaker if you want to hear a test recording. And I would always, anytime you're checking, I would actually always use some type of headphones to check your audio, because there's going to be things in there. I would just assume that everybody is watching your video with headphones on. That's just my piece of advice. So if you edit it with headphones on, then you're good, because you just assume that everybody else is watching it with headphones on, so they're going to pick up on all those little things that you may not hear. I really just use my phone, but you can upgrade it with the lapel lavalier, or you can go more expensive and get this little Roadie, and you can get the Roadie without this little wind puff on it. You don't have to buy this wind puff. I just bought it as a whole kit, and it came with all of these pieces. Like I said, I have this camera that I use. It's upside down. I use this camera. I did a video recently about the vlogging stick that I use, which is this MANFROTTO. So you can watch that as well if you want to check that out. And I'll put all of this in the description below so you can learn what audio is working, but always test your audio when you're trying to make sure that you have really good audio, because you're not going to know until you go back. And honestly, if you have the shittiest video, as long as you have really good audio, it really doesn't matter how bad your video is if people can hear what's going on. So keep that in mind. Tips. So here's some other tips. If there's air, TV, wind, anything that you can do to keep noises down around you. If I'm recording in the car, I like to turn the air condition off, because later on what I do is I hear and you can't hear anything that I'm saying. Or if the music is on, you have to think about all those things. If the window's down, all of those things will be in your video. If you're in an empty room, make sure that there is stuff on the walls, put some blankets in the room, do something, because sometimes when you're in there, it'll just be an echo everywhere, and it doesn't really sound good whenever it comes back to editing your videos and what people hear in the room. You just hear this annoying echo, so you really need to think about that if you're in a blank room with nothing in there. It's gonna be what the viewers hear, not what you hear. Check the description below this video. You can find all of this equipment and where to buy it. I usually pick it up on Amazon because it's super easy. When I'm traveling, I can get it anywhere that I am. So now you know what audio to use to make your videos da bomb. I'm Brandi of blogginbrandi.com, where you can find tons of free resources to help you brand your business. If you want even more tips and tricks on how to improve your YouTube channel, you can pick up the checklist that I've created to help you get more views, more subscribers super fast by getting your channel on point, in the description below. So all the goodies are in the description. If you're not picking those up and checking that description, you're missing out on a lot of goodies, and we wouldn't want that. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Don't forget to hit subscribe.